Kickoff is around the corner in Starkville, and these are my game-by-game predictions for the Mississippi State Bulldogs this season. Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. As always, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check us out via podcast, where we get your podcasts. You can also find us across all social media platforms, as well as our website, secunfiltered.com. And as always, we are powered by our friends over at FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com/SECU to join today and get started with $250 in bonus bets when you win your first $5 bet. Once again, that's FanDuel.com/SECU to get $250 in bonus bets today. Year 2 of the Jeff Lebby era is just around the corner. Obviously, Mississippi State looking to bounce back from what was an extremely difficult 2024 season. It saw Hail State go winless in SEC play. These are my game-by-game predictions for the upcoming year 2 of the Jeff Lebby era in Starkville as Mississippi State gets ready to take the field. Our friends over at FanDuel have the over-under win total for the Dogs at 3.5, just 3.5 for Mississippi State. The over currently at -162, the under at +132. So there is some belief from folks that Mississippi State will eclipse that 3.5 number, as you can tell by the odds there. Again, that being said, guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and pull up Mississippi State's 2025 schedule. We'll dive right into this starting in week 1, a really interesting road trip as Mississippi State goes on the road to take on Southern Miss. Now, I will say this, Southern Miss in a period of transition as well. They've got a new head coach. I know this is a game, again, you look at the schedule and it'd be fun to pick the upset. And I think some State fans maybe even be nervous about this football game. I don't know that you have as much reason to be nervous as you may think so. I still think Mississippi State from a roster standpoint is far better off than what Southern Miss is. So again, on paper, and I think after last year and the Toledo game and the way that went down, you'll never take a football game for granted at this point. But I still think Mississippi State in a better spot than Southern Miss. Listen, I like the Dogs offensively. I think the return of Blake Shapen is not being talked about enough. I was really high on him last year before he got hurt. You're going to have one of the best running back duos in the SEC with Fluff Bothwell and Devon Booth. Defensively is the big question with this football team, right? What can Coleman Hutzler do in year 2 of his tenure? But again, I think too much firepower for Mississippi State in week 1. I mean, certainly, listen, we'll be keeping a close eye on it, but I would be really surprised the Dogs went out there and got upset in Hattiesburg. You know, it'll be packed out there. They're going to be fired up. But I think Mississippi State, guys, they get the win in their opener against the in-state, quote-unquote, rival, if you will. 1-0 start for Jeff Lebby in year 2. Then week 2, it gets serious really fast. You got Arizona State coming to your place, which, again, obviously we know Arizona State was in the college football playoff a season ago. They do have Sam Leavitt back at the quarterback position. Lost Cam Scattaboo, lost a lot, so I'm not sure they're going to be quite the team they were last year. But I am going Arizona State in this football game. I think it's a great opportunity. Listen, I really do. And if you can win in week 2, obviously we're going to go throughout the schedule, continue to do so. It'll set up really well for you for a couple weeks down the road when you dive into SEC play, because you do have all 4 of those non-conference games out of the gate to start your season. I'm going to go Arizona State right now, but this one would not shock me. And I think this is a huge game. You could argue it's the most important game for State just from an early momentum building standpoint to really get things going. I'm going Sam Leavitt in Arizona State right now. I think this low-key, though, could be one of the most underrated, entertaining games of this season. I think there'll be a lot of offense. I think there'll be a lot of fireworks. But I do have Arizona State coming into Starkville, despite all the cowbells, despite the home field atmosphere. I think Arizona State gets the win. Mississippi State drops to 1-1. Then you got Alcorn State coming to town. No big deal. It's going to be a week for you, obviously, to lick your wounds, get right, beat up on somebody else. You'll get to 2-1, no doubt, and win that football game. Then you've got NIU the following week. This one's really interesting because NIU beat Notre Dame a season ago. I don't see that happening again. I think Mississippi State, I think you get the win. So, again, over-under win total from Vegas, 3.5. I think you're already at 3 games with a 3-1 record out of the gate in the month of September. And then comes that game to cap off the month of September. You've got the Tennessee Vols coming to town. Joey Aguilar, we now know, is QB1. You're going to be looking, again, for your first SEC win in quite a long time. And, guys, when I look at this game, I went back and forth on this one, admittedly. I think Tennessee defensively is still going to be a strength for them. I do think quarterback's a pretty big question. We'll know a lot, too, about Tennessee and what they're going to be because they're going to have Georgia. They got Syracuse in the opener. We're going to have an opportunity to see Tennessee firsthand and get a really, really good gauge on what the Vols are this season. Guys, I'll just say this because, again, the big question I have about Mississippi State is can they stop anybody, right? You couldn't stop a nosebleed a season ago. Can you stop anybody? I think offensively there's enough there to be pretty productive and explosive and do some really good things. I do. I think year 2 under Jeff Lebby, I think they're going to be better offensively. And I think Mississippi State is going to get somebody in the SEC this year. I will say that. I don't know if it's considered a bold prediction, but I do think Mississippi State is going to beat somebody. Like, I think they're going to get an SEC win. I don't know that the Dogs are going to be great this year. Certainly, they're not going to contend for the SEC title or college football playoff, but I do think you're going to get at least one SEC win this season, and I've got it coming in this football game. Listen, I think it sets up really well, and I know there's Tennessee fans out there losing their minds. Guys, did we learn nothing from last year? Like, college football is unpredictable, man. You literally cannot predict it. You can't make sense of it half the time. So maybe it's not Tennessee, right? But I think it sets up really well. It's still pretty early in the season for Tennessee, breaking in Joey Aguilar, some new offensive pieces. And I think Mississippi State welcomes into Starkville. I think it's a good atmosphere, and I think the Dogs pull the upset. I think Coleman Hutzler's defense does just enough. I think Joey Aguilar is a guy Vol fans are going to have to live with the fact he's probably going to have a game or two where it's just a little bit erratic. I think it's just a little bit all over the place, right? It's maddening because you see the talent and the skill set, but he's a bit of a gunslinger, right? And he's going to make some mistakes. You got to live with the bad that comes along with that good as well of being a gunslinger. I think Mississippi State's able to capitalize. It's a big day by Blake Shapen, throwing the football all over the yard. I think Jeff Lebby finally breaks through and gets that SEC win, guys. And again, whether it's this game, whether it's another one, I think that SEC win is coming this season. I really do. So again, I've got Mississippi State getting the win here, getting their first SEC win in the Jeff Lebby era, which is crazy to say. And again, improving early in the season to 4-1. You already hit the over, right? 5 games in. Here's the bad news. As we continue through the schedule and we get in the month of October, here's the bad news. Mississippi State, yet again, has one of the toughest draws in all of college football. I mean, it's just death taxes and Mississippi State's schedule just being absolutely brutal. And that is, again, the case with this one. Again, that next week following the Tennessee game, you're going to be at Texas A&M. I like where A&M is more than you right now. I do. I like Marcel Reed. I don't know that they're going to be a college football playoff team, but I love what they got on both lines of scrimmage, especially the offensive line. Mike Elko's defense, I think, will be up to the challenge. And the fact you got to go to Kyle Field, I got you dropping that game. Give me 4-2 going into the bye week. So, again, you're still sitting in a pretty good spot. You'll be 1-1 in SEC play. But, again, then you got to go to Florida. What's the status of DJ Lagway at this point? What does Florida look like? I'm going to assume Florida's healthy, and if Florida's healthy, I think they will get the win. I think defensively, I think it's going to be a tough day for Mississippi State, actually offensively, because I like Florida's defense a lot. Love what they have in the front seven with Jackson and Sapp and those guys up there. I think Florida gets the win in the swamp, protects the home field. Then the following week, you host the Texas Longhorns. I mean, again, there's just no let up in this schedule, guys. I mean, listen, Texas is just in a different planet than you right now. They're just on a different planet than what Mississippi State is fielding there on a week-in, week-out basis. I'm going to go with the Texas Longhorns here. I don't think that's a crazy take. Again, that would make it your 3rd straight loss, by the way, after you started 4-1. So, again, from 4-1 to 4-4 is where you'd be sitting as we go into the month of November. So, still, chance to make a bowl game on the horizon, but I got you at 4-4 after a loss to Texas. Like I said, guys, I'm high on Texas. I got Texas in the SEC title game. Great opportunity for a big upset. I just don't see it happening in this spot, even though the game is in Starkville. The following week, to kick off the month of November, you go to Fayetteville and take on the Arkansas Razorbacks. Now, this is one I think you could have a really good shot here. If you're going to get another SEC win, if you're going to get multiple SEC wins, it probably is going to have to be – this game's probably going to have to be included. I just – listen, it's one of your more manageable SEC games you have. And again, that's saying a lot. That tells you just how darn hard this schedule is. The fact that, at Arkansas and Fayetteville, which is, again, not an easy game. We'll see what the Hogs are at this point. I mean, is Sam Pittman even still coaching for them at this point in the season? But that's how difficult the schedule is. This is one of your more gettable games if you're a Mississippi State fan. I'm going with Arkansas, though. I know, listen, again, people are trying to do the math. Well, wait, we beat Tennessee, but we lose to Arkansas. Guys, college football is not a math problem where 2 + 2 = 4. We all know that. It's 2 + 2 = 7 most of the times in college football. I think Arkansas with Talon Green, I think Talon Green gives Coleman Hutzler and that defense a whole lot of problems. I think Arkansas actually could be a little bit better than people are thinking. Just the thing with them is there's just so many unknowns. It's unknown after unknown. We have no clue what we're getting out of the Hogs. But I think going to Fayetteville, again, how jacked up is the crowd? I understand where are we at when it comes to Arkansas football, but I think Arkansas able to protect the home field. Woo Pig gets the win. That drops you to a losing record at 4-5. Guys, in the next week, you take on the Georgia Bulldogs. I think at this point in the season, Georgia's going to be playing for an appearance in the SEC title game, certainly their college football playoff hopes. What are you playing for at that point other than to play spoiler? You gave them a good run last year. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. I just think Georgia, guys, again, at this point in the season, Gunnar Stockton is clicking. Kirby Smart's defense is going to be operating at their highest level, their optimal capacity, if you will. I do think Georgia will get the win here, so you drop that one. Then you got to go to Missouri. Guys, I think Missouri's a little underrated. I really do. I'm not saying they're going to be great, but people just thinking they're going to fall off a cliff. And I think Mizzou's going to be a little bit better than people realize. I do have Mizzou in this football game also. Is it Bo Prabula? Is it Sam Horn? What does that look like in Como? But, yeah, you got to go to Como. I think this is another great opportunity, though, if we're talking about potential upset games. Again, it kind of stinks for Mississippi State. Like your most manageable SEC games from an opponent standpoint, they're on the road. And it's like we know how hard it is to win on the road in this conference, no matter who you're playing. So I think Mizzou does get the win there. And then, guys, you go into the bye week before the final week of the season. You close out the season against the Ole Miss Rebels in Starkville. This one's really, really interesting. You might have heard us talking about this game actually on the SEC documentary, talking about the Egg Bowl, and I said something along the lines of, you win this game and a lot of sins will be forgiven. That's exactly how I look at this football game. I mean, listen, it'll be another tough season. I think you're 4-7 at this point. You go beat Ole Miss, you're going to win a lot of favor with your fan base and within folks that pull for Hail State in the state of Mississippi. But Ole Miss is another one. Just like Missouri, I think they're going to be better than people are giving them credit for. I think there's been an overcorrection because of what happened last year going into this year. I think Ole Miss is going to be much, much better. Therefore, I've got Ole Miss getting the win in this football game. Again, in Starkville, who knows? I think it is going to be a tight ball game. I just think this rivalry tends to always deliver. There's so much hatred. The Egg Bowl, I think, is maybe the most underrated rivalry in all of college football when you just really think about what makes it what it is, the hatred on both sides, the intensity, the passion. But I do think it's Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin getting a win yet again to end the Dogs season at 4-8 overall, 1-7 in SEC play. Listen, what's the ceiling for this team? Can Mississippi State get to 6-6? I don't know that they can. I think the goal this season has to just be win an SEC game. Win an SEC game and go from there, right? Like really, truly. I think that's a step in the right direction. I know State fans are frustrated, but I always looked at this as a 3 or 4 year rebuild for Jeff Lebby. Like realistically, what he was left, the terrible situation after Mike Leach passing and just kind of everything that happened from that point. It is. You could argue right now it's the toughest job in the SEC, there and Kentucky. I do think Kentucky is going to be worse than you. I don't think State is going to be the doormat of the conference necessarily, but I do think it's going to be another rough year. I didn't love the move to bring Coleman Hutzler back, if I'm being totally honest with you. I don't know how much better you're really going to be defensively. I do think you'll take steps forward offensively, but can you really can you bank on outscoring people on a weekly basis? I mean, if your offense even remotely misses a beat, you're probably going to get beat down. Like if your offense doesn't show up against Tennessee or A&M or Florida or Texas or Georgia, whatever, it's probably going to get ugly. And also, too, again, guys, like the schedule's not conducive to State really overachieving and having a big year. So again, guys, that being said, I've got Mississippi State at 4-8 overall, 1-7 in SEC play. Another rough year, too, for Jeff Lebby. A step taken forward because you get an SEC win, but another rough year, unfortunately. Guys, would love to hear from you. Love to hear your thoughts. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? What are your game-by-game predictions for the Mississippi State Bulldogs heading into the 2025 college football season? Guys, that's going to do all for me. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. Before we get out of here, I do want to tell you about our friends over at FanDuel because, as always, we are brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. Guys, on Tuesday, August the 26th, it is FanDuel Futures Day. That is literally next week, a new holiday for football fans. It's 24 hours of deals on all your favorite football season predictions. So take a flyer on the MVP race, whether it's Lamar Jackson, it is Josh Allen, Jaden Daniels, whoever it might be that you're betting on. Crown your champion in August. Maybe it's the Eagles, the Lions, the Bucks, the Titans, whoever you think is going to win it all, or parlay your division winner. Dark horses, guys, mark your calendars. This is your day for your hunches, your hot takes, your calls, and your odds. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now because Futures Day is one day and one day only. FanDuel, play your game and make sure you sign up today over at FanDuel.com/SECU. That's FanDuel.com/SECU. Guys, once again, that's going to do all for me. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. As always, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Take us out via podcast where we get your podcast. You can also find us across all social media platforms as well as our website, SECUnfiltered.com. So next time, I'm Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in, and we will catch you all on the other side.